have a beautiful orange sunset over yonder. Just out here in the garden wrapping up another beautiful day today. As you can see, I've been doing a little transplanting. So this is the Ashwagandha plant. I started these indoors from seed several months back and brought them outside about a month ago. So they've had a chance to harden off, which is important when bringing out your seedlings from indoors to outdoors. You want to allow the plant adequate time to acclimate to the outdoor temperatures before putting it in the ground. You want to try to avoid transplant shock. And I just want to share with you a quick tip when it comes to actually transplanting your seedlings now into the ground. I actually prefer to transplant in the evening, just before it gets dark. I might also choose to transplant during the day if it's an overcast day and the sun's not going to beat down on these young seedlings. Also want to make sure it's not too windy outside. The wind will whip these young plants around and can cause some damage. So tonight's actually the perfect time to get these transplants in the ground. It's a beautiful evening, very pleasant to be out in the garden. There's no wind. And by getting them in the ground now, it's going to allow them many hours to rest overnight until morning comes and the sun starts to shine on them. So it's recommended to plant out the ashwagandha about a foot apart. And it's actually the roots of this plant that I'm going to be harvesting. Dry those roots out, pulverize and make them into a powder. You can make them into a tincture. And the hori just makes it really easy to carve out a little home for the transplant. I'm just going to lightly tap the plant out. As you can see, we got a nice beautiful root system developed on this plant. Gently put it in its hole, and I like to just backfill around with that dirt that I dug out, and then I'll go around with my hori and I'll loosen up by prying up around the plot. This just makes it easier for the roots of the plant to penetrate out into the soil rather than get root bound into the little hole that I just carved out. Just tamp it in a bit with my hands, and that one's done. So I've got a few more to go here. So the ashwagandha can actually be grown as a perennial in places like India. Here in Zone 9B, I'm going to be growing this as an annual, and I'll be looking to harvest sometime probably in October, November. Well, that's it for now, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have yourself a great weekend and plant something in the ground.